True culture. True experience. True issues. True news. True stories. Aboriginal American truths.
Yo, much appreciation to our American people. Yeah, we got some things we're going to be discussing briefly. We're not going to hold too much of your time. We get straight to the point today. Essentially, the situation here, there are serious and severely unresolved issues that have compromised the quality of life and living within his U.S. corporate system. Within the past 4 years, the Trump administration has brought some of these issues to the attention of this U.S. population. Yesterday, at the Save America March, prior to the evening's events, it was calm. And the U.S. President Trump spoke certain truths regarding various forms of corruption, right? Many of you may be aware of the foreign investment in certain corporate and political characters being involved in an active conspiracy to undermine the U.S. Constitution, laws, rights, freedoms, liberty, etc. In addition to key rights secured through past Supreme Court decisions, such as health matters being known to compromise the health of patients. Now, on the Aboriginal American Truth Instagram and Facebook pages, we have shared particular Supreme Court decisions dealing with vaccines, but that's not the focus of this presentation right now. The focus of this presentation is this.
Police are squabbling with...
Pardon, let me get the screen share function. So I want y'all to see something here. Yeah, the focus of this presentation is this. I want y'all to see something.
With protesters. Oh, there we go. And they just... Police are squabbling with... Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
All right, so I'm not sure if you can see it clearly, but observe. I'm gonna pause it right there. You see that there is a barricade in front of these quote unquote protesters, right? You have Capitol Police, law enforcement present, right? They are in front of those or behind these barricades, right? Let's continue. Now we see here, if you look to the right, you see that the barricade is being moved with the hand of, this is U.S. Capitol Police, moving the barricade, right?
Police are squabbling with protesters.
Then the police, they turn their back and they walk away.
Oh, there we go. And they just...
So now, we had a series of events that took place within this U.S. Capitol building yesterday, right? As we see on the screen right now, we have this guy here. Multiple gentlemen, four in total, just in this one particular image. And here they are a little more clearly, You can see them. You can see them much more clearly in this image here, right? Continue. I'm gonna show you some more images. Same guys. Same guys here. And then we have this here. The same guy that you see wearing this headpiece here, right? He's also seen previously last year at a Black Lives Matter rally in Arizona. Okay. We see here the gentleman that he's with, his characters that he's with. Someone has shown this symbol on a guy's left hand tattoo. Symbol of communism, right? And so throughout media, you know, I don't watch television, but I've spoken to people that do have televisions, and they were saying how you have these political figures, you know, these media characters last year during those quote unquote protests, right? You had people cheerleading, various people on television cheerleading the protest. We have certain quotes here of certain people here, including Pelosi and Kamala Harris. One quote here saying there needs to be unrest in the streets. Kamala Harris is being quoted here saying protesters should not let up. This person here, I don't know who this is. They're saying if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and create a crowd and you push back on them and you tell them they're not welcome anymore anywhere. Okay. Nancy Pelosi here is quoted as saying, I just don't know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be. All right. So the other day I did a presentation showing psychological operation manuals. All right. You have political psychological operation techniques being applied, including economic psychological warfare tactics and techniques also being applied, right? So with that being known, it is vital that we know what we are allowing our mind to process through these characters throughout their media. Remember, they are contracted to behave the way that they behave. This guy here, seen clearer there. You have him there. You have him here, right? How is it these characters are able to pop up at these type of events? I don't know. I don't have access to these people's bank statements and what have you. I don't know their funding, etc. But it is very interesting. Whenever there is some kind of event to shape and shift public opinion, we have characters present to participate in the effectiveness of those events. And seeing members of law enforcement, U.S. Capitol Police, right? Let me show you that again. U.S. Capitol Police opening the barrier.
Police are squabbling with
Opening the
protesters.
barrier,
Oh, there we go.
turning their back on a position, which was to prevent, unrest or the increase of, what happened yesterday, right? That barrier was there to prevent certain things from happening. Then we see also in this video, we have this guy with this blue hoodie on who is directing all of these people to this Capitol building, where throughout media today, they're going to be talking about the invasion of the Capitol. How, quote unquote, if it was quote unquote black people doing this, it would have been this, that, and the other. They're using keywords such as white supremacist. Well, there were sprinkles of quote unquote black people within the crowd that was in attendance at the Save America March yesterday. So if this was a huge crowd of quote unquote white supremacists, I think these few quote unquote black people that was there, they would have experienced some tremendous abuses. I believe that would have made some certain noise throughout social media and what have you. They would have made a spectacle out of these quote unquote white supremacists doing something against these quote unquote few black people that were present at the Save America March. I'm gonna show you this one last time. We see the barrier, it's up. I'm not sure how many people's behind the barrier, behind the backs of law enforcement here, but this is what happens.
Police are
U.S. Capitol Police, under whatever orders, I don't know where the orders came from, I don't know. They opened up the barrier, which enabled the situation to escalate, right? We see this guy here, over here now. Nancy Pelosi, early that morning, she was standing right there where this guy is. You see? So there's some serious issues, very serious issues that need to be addressed. This shows a lack of security, lack of professionalism. We don't know where these orders are coming from, whereas corruption is being enabled. Because that's what we're seeing. We're witnessing this. What Trump was saying about corruption, fraud, etc. Just by observing this video, this should serve as evidence of corruption, abuse of power, or what have you, right? This should serve as evidence of that. But now I want to go into another subject matter, right? So Donald Trump, throughout his administration, he has signed a series of executive orders. I'm not going to go into all of the executive orders because he signed quite a few, way more than a few, but he signed many executive orders, and quite a few of them I have read within, recent years. Now, I'm going to draw your attention to this one here. HR 984. It's House Resolution 984. Okay. This one pertains to the Thomasina E. Jordan Indian Tribes of Virginia Federal Recognition Act of 2017. Okay. He signed this into law January 29, 2018. January 29, 2018. President Donald Trump signed into law the Thomasina E. Jordan Indian Tribes of Virginia Federal Recognition Act of 2017, which provides federal recognition to 6 Indian tribes in the state of Virginia. All right. Here is House Resolution 984 on congress.gov. Okay. Now, if you were to look into the body of the text, right? You have it on, it's the GPO, Government Printing Office website. If you look into this, you will see that Walter Plecker, the acts of Walter Plecker dealing with the Racial Integrity Act out of the 1920s, you will see that that is addressed in here in regards to the ethnocide that was taking place then, when Walter Plecker was that public official working in Vital Records Statistics Office of Virginia, where they made it a felony. Walter Plecker made it a felony for an Indian to list themselves on vital records as an Indian. But an Indian would not get a felony if they identified themselves as a Negro, colored, mulatto, things of that nature. That is corruption. What Walter Plecker did and whoever else that supported him. That is corruption. So we're talking about 1924 era Racial Integrity Act era corruption. And fast forward to today, as I said initially, we have serious and severely unresolved issues that have compromised the quality of life and living within this United States corporate system, just in regards to our American people alone. All right? Why is this significant? Donald Trump signing this executive order. Okay? Well, we have Biden, Joe Biden, who it's been said that, there was a lot of election fraud. I don't know. I didn't see all the data. I've heard different things, of course. But this is something we should pay attention to. When you have this article out of December 18, 2020, saying erasing Trump's legacy with the stroke of a pen. Joe Biden is hoping to lead in a manner that, unlike his recent predecessors, leans more on legislation and less on signing executive orders, but he may not have a choice. Basically, what we're doing here is we're seeing that there's going to be a lot of things in which Trump has put into motion that Biden is going to undo. When he spoke to those quote unquote black civil rights quote unquote leaders, right? He told them he's going to use executive orders to undo everything this fool has done. That's not an exact quote, but he did use the word fool, and he did say he's going to use executive orders to undo what this fool in reference to Donald Trump has done with Donald Trump's executive orders. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this subject, right? But yes, erasing Trump's legacy with the stroke of a pen. So if we see here, Trump signs H.R. 984, Thomasina E. Jordan Indian Tribes of Virginia Federal Recognition Act of 2017, which 6 tribes alone they have been working on this for many, many years. This legal process is not an overnight situation. It's not an overnight situation. So for all we know, this act may be undone by Biden. This is to be determined. And this is why I say awareness contributes to preparedness. Our American people need to be prepared. We need to be aware of what we need to prepare for, because as we see, these foreigners are not playing with us. Now, let's continue. Let's proceed here. Now, here it is. We have NPR. This is an October 13th, 2020 article examining Joe Biden's record on race. 1994 crime bill sponsorship. Okay. Now I'm not gonna get into all the details about this, but we know that through legislation, our American people's communities have been intentionally targeted for police corruption, abuses in law, etc. We know this. So many homes, people's relatives, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, uncles, aunts, cousins, nieces, nephews, etc., grandparents included, have suffered due to these crime bills. Crime that was intentionally and strategically bred, invested in to disrupting progress within countless communities across the country. We all have heard about COINTELPRO out of the 70s and 80s, where cocaine, heroin, and other substances some way, somehow just appear in these quote unquote black communities, right? It just appears. Guns and drugs that these communities do not manufacture. In these communities, to this day, these communities do not manufacture guns and drugs. But some way, somehow, the communities have access to guns and drugs, and it is there for the community to destroy itself. And so here we're looking at examining Joe Biden's record on race. 1994 crime bill sponsorship. He sponsored a crime bill which contributed to more damage. The guns and drugs was damaging enough. But now we have legislation creating more damage, right? Innocent people, drugs being planted on people that were not even involved in drugs. Guns being planted on people that didn't have guns on them or what have you. Once again, this goes into conspiracy at the highest levels, right? Now I'm going to draw your attention to immigration policy predictions for 2021. Well, once again, there are serious and severely unresolved issues that have compromised the quality of life and living within this U.S. corporate system, okay? We have unresolved issues, serious and severe unresolved issues. Economic issues, legislative issues, political issues, social issues, this COVID-19 issue, corporations running amok, censorship issues. We have a list of issues, right? How is immigration? How is more foreigners immigrating, invading North America alone, right? How is that going to help resolve these serious and severely unresolved issues? How is that going to be of service to the service that we need in regards to resolving these issues? These are things in which needs to be discussed and preparations need to be made for. Our American people have been here dealing with all of this madness since, let's just take it back a little bit. I'm just going to take it back just a little bit. Once again, this text I'm showing right now, this is from Blacks of the Land, page 136. Now, it says Brazil here, okay? But we're talking about the mind, the intelligence, the resources, and the intentions of these foreigners that have conspired against our American people. So when it says Brazil, I just want you to think of the Americas, this American continent. We are here in North America, what has been identified or classified as the United States of America. Let's just read here. And in it there have assembled a large number of men of different nations, Englishmen, Dutchmen, and Jews, who in league with those from the land, like rabid dogs, cause great damage to your warship's new flock. The Jesuits also use religious rhetoric in attempting to guarantee their exclusive access to the Indians of the interior, lamenting that the Sertão, that they call Patos, is open to every Moor, Jew, black, and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. That was written in 1637. That being written in 1637 was an unresolved issue that was taking place then, right? Where we are today, right? What do we see? Our people are being attacked. Our American people are being attacked by men of various nations, right? They are actively working to conquer our people, our lands, resources, etc., as well as capture us. When our people are being incarcerated, detained, etc., right? When our people are being detained and etc., right? That's capturing our people. The kidnapping. Yo, our daughters and sons throughout this what do we call this child protective services situation. I'm not saying that there's no need for child protective services. What I am saying is the fact we know that there are abuses, there is corruption that is present within these agencies. We need to be aware. Well, let's continue here. It's saying here, and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. Yes, absolutely. Since Donald Trump has been in office, right? I just mentioned this the other day. There's been over 12,000 arrests in these operations combating human trafficking, sex trafficking, which includes child sex trafficking. Okay? With this trafficking, we know that people are being bought and sold. Now, when we see things like, to me at least, right? When I see something like immigration policy predictions for 2021, well, we know that since day one, since foreign arrival, foreigners, we're referencing 1637 right now, but this was going on from the point of contact. This character known as Columbus, all right, he is known for coming here, attacking our people, kidnapping them, taking them back to Spain, and selling them. And this is going on to this day. When our people are arrested, charged, convicted, and sentenced, right? They're being sold. They were captured, and now they're being sold. We can look into the private prison corporations, right? That are being paid they're being paid via contract to hold our American people and whoever else. But I'm focusing purely on our American people because we're reading text here that says to go there. Every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians, to later sell them where to whom they please, and it's happening to this very day. It's happening to this very day. But I'm reading the chat here. Took a moment to take a look. Yo, Luke, I see you. Appreciate your presence. R.L. Smith, I see you. Roman Wolf, I see you. Appreciate your presence. Satara, I see you. Appreciate you as well. Yo, Huey P. Nuisance, I see you. Appreciate you as well. Alboria, appreciate your presence as well, of course. We have an Amaru, Skyhawk. Yeah, appreciate your presence too. Terry, I see you. Yeah, so this is the situation here. This is the situation here. What we saw within these past 4 years, right? This president, Donald Trump, in my opinion, they wanted him to get down and lay down, and he wouldn't get down and he wouldn't lay down. So they concocted various things to sabotage his character. Character assassination apparently is big business, right? It wasn't broadcasted. This Thomasina E. Jordan Indian Tribes of Virginia Federal Recognition Act of 2017 that Donald Trump signed in January of 2018. That wasn't broadcasted. How inspirational that would have been for so many of our American people to see that, whoa, we got 6 Indian tribes in the state of Virginia that just got federal recognition. Good for them. We should be happy for them, right? We should want to reach out to them, interact with them, engage them, right? To learn more about what is this federal recognition that you've just achieved, that you've been working for. What does it mean? for the descendants of these Aboriginal American people? What does it mean for them? Will the kin of these descendants of these only 6 tribes of Virginia, will they be able to participate? I mean, because I know for sure, once upon a time ago, what's known as DC was known as Virginia, right? We know that that entire region right there, what they call the DMV today, that was all known as Virginia. It was the Virginia colony, right? So the abuses that's taking place, right? The corruption on all levels, economic corruption, political, legislative, economic, etc. All these forms of corruption that's impacting the lives of those Indians within this Virginia colony, right? Should they not be made aware that there is an opportunity for them to secure themselves, to secure their communities, because there are resources that have been present for quite some time, right? For these communities and these people within these communities to be secure. But who's going to tell the people this? That's my problem. The fact that the people are not being informed. Foreign media is not informing our people. We have puppets and characters and actors that have whatever contracts and whatever oaths embedded amongst our American people throughout our American communities, right? That are aware of programs, that are aware of resources, and they withhold them, which goes into corruption in the form of embezzling, what they call embezzlement, right? Foreigners, immigrants. There is a policy that's been present for many years where these immigrants are getting resources that were dedicated for our American people. I'm gonna continue with that point in a minute. I'm approaching the conclusion of this video here. Let's look at the Orange County Register. This is out of California. Kamala Harris, abysmal record on justice issues. And once again, I encourage you all to pull up these articles. Now, there's a quote in here I want to show. Where is this quote I read this morning here? It says a lot in here, but I'm looking for something very, very particular. And I just want you to keep in mind here, she is a foreigner posing as a quote unquote black woman, as a quote unquote woman of color. Her mother is listed as a Caucasian. In law, it says blatantly, the child inherits the status of the mother. So if her mother's a Caucasian, she's a Caucasian. These are people from Hindustan. There's a lot of corruption in Hindustan. Y'all can look it up. I may do a presentation on that at another time, maybe this week. I don't know. Maybe next week. But I'm aware of all of this stuff already. And the filth that I'm aware of taking place in these foreign regions where there are immigration policies, I don't want that here. We don't need that here. Their corruption. Yo, same way our American people are here dealing with these unresolved issues, right? These unresolved, serious, severe issues here. In my opinion, foreigners need to do the same thing where they are from. If there's corruption, if there's abuses, political corruption, legislative, economic, etc., deal with it. That's your duty to do. It's our duty to deal with this here. Bottom line, this is our duty to deal with these problems here. Why? Because this is our homeland. We are the American people. People want to come here and assume the American identity without respect for the culture, for the people, for the customs, for the values, for the principles. Let me find this particular quote out of here. Oh man, where's this quote at? God damn it. I read it this morning. Here it is right here. Let's just read this one here. It says, during her bid for the presidential nomination, Harris portrayed herself as a progressive prosecutor who championed police accountability, but that's a fanciful recasting of her record. That means that she wasn't for police accountability at all. In 13 years as a top cop, meaning her being a quote unquote progressive prosecutor, Harris was not a reformer, but a tough on crime prosecutor with close links to the police unions and someone who stayed on the sidelines in police misconduct cases. Now, I don't know of all the abuses that took place throughout California during her presence as a prosecutor. I don't know everything. I would never claim to know everything, but I am aware that there have been, and is still present, abuses directed at our American people throughout these communities in California. And for someone to want to become vice president of this United States corporation, right? To be working with someone who sponsored a 1994 crime bill. I mean, this sounds like it's going to be kind of bad. Sound like it's going to be extra kind of fucked up. Like it's going to be a real special fucked up situation. I'm just being honest with you. I mean, how would these two people come together? So yeah, I'm just providing this for context of these events that we've seen going back to this from yesterday, which I'm sure media is not going to show this video here. I'm sure they're not going to be asking questions about why would U.S. Capitol Police
Police are squabbling with protesters.
open up the gate, the barrier. They opened up the barrier. One minute we see the barrier, right?
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
Next minute we don't. Now you see it, now you don't. So what's that? What's to me? That's symbology. That's very symbolic of what we can expect to see as 2021 progresses, right? Now, I want to bring this to your attention. This here is page 310, and the implications and ramifications of the artificial black identity, a legal chronology to America's 1492-1968, concise and definitive second edition. Says here, Civil Rights Act of 1968, Public Law 90-284, 82, Statute 73. We see here a picture of Lyndon B. Johnson with Martin Luther King Jr. Okay? The quote, on the 2nd of July, 1964, Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a far-reaching bill he hoped would eliminate the last vestiges of injustice in America. King stood beside Johnson as he signed the bill into law. Fast forward, little less than 4 years. It says, 4 days later, on the 4th of April, 1968, King was assassinated. Johnson wrote in his memoir that he had rarely felt a sense of powerlessness more acutely than the day Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. Less than a week later, Johnson invoked King's memory when he signed into law the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Let's be clear here. 1968, President Johnson signs the Indian Civil Rights Act. They say Civil Rights Act, but in truth, this is the Indian Civil Rights Act. President Lyndon Johnson calls for termination to be replaced with Indian self-determination. So from 1968 to 2020, today, we're in January 7th of 2021. Where is our self-determination at when we're seeing Trump's legacy being erased with the stroke of a pen? Will this include Indian self-determination, such as these Indian tribes of Virginia receiving federal recognition in 2017 and President Trump signing HR 984 pertaining to this Virginia Indian Act into law? I mean, these are considerations that are very present right now, especially when we have some immigrants that have an immigration policy to bring, from what I read previously, 11 million. Trump has been against that. It says right here on this article, the Trump administration passed more than 400 immigration regulations and executive orders. Continuing, some measures like the Muslim ban and its successors were enacted by executive orders and can be undone just as easily with the stroke of Biden's pen. Now, let me just take you back. Shared this information the other day, right? This text is saying here, once again, America is the focus. Is open. America is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians to later sell them where and to whom they please. Okay? Now I want to fast forward a bit, because when we have Donald Trump, right? We have Donald Trump and his predecessors that have been against these Muslims, right? Take a look here. We need clarity as we progress, as we move forward. We need clarity. I encourage full disclosure amongst our American people. It says here, and this book that I'm reading from here, this particular text, this is from Turks, Moors, and Englishmen in the Age of Discovery, okay? It says, similarly, English colonists and adventurers interchanged discourses and prejudices as they crisscrossed between the Muslims in the Mediterranean and the Indians in America, drawing on their eschatological and military fears of the Turks and Moors and on the writings of anti-Muslim and anti-Indian Spaniards. English colonists applied the imagery they had designated for the Muslims on the Indians. Once again, English colonists applied the imagery they had designated for the Muslims on the Indians. Brandon Rogers, I see you. How you doing? In the same way that the Mohammedans were beasts, wild and bloody and cruel, the Indians became doleful creatures, the various ruins of mankind, the devil worshippers and flying serpents. It says in the same way that the Muslims were wild, beasts, bloody and cruel, the Indians, due to the English colonists applying this imagery that was designated for Muslims, now is being applied onto us, right? So when we see things like, where was we at? Immigration policy, where it says the Trump administration passed more than 400 immigration regulations and executive orders, an incredible number for a one-term president. Some measures like the Muslim ban and its successors were enacted by executive orders and can be undone just as easily with the stroke of Biden's pen? Let's go back and read a little bit more in regards to these English colonists, right? Let's read this a little bit more. I'm concluding also. All right. Looking for this quote. I showed it the other day. I'm going to show it again. So you have this Moroccan king, Al Mansur, right? Who conspired with Queen Elizabeth in 1600. Okay. Says here, May 1st, 1601, stated that that's his king Al Mansur, right? Who wants to expand his kingdom. He stated that he would underwrite a joint military venture with her, that's Queen Elizabeth, right? Only if the goal was not just to fight Spain, but also to colonize the New World, that's America. Al Mansur wanted assurances that having defeated the Spaniards, Moroccans would populate the lands to the exclusion of the English. In a moment of imprudent exuberance, Al Mansur outlined his vision that Islam would prevail in the Americas and the Mahdi would become proclaimed from the two sides of the ocean. To ensure cooperation, Al Mansur informed Elizabeth that such a venture would bring her vast benefits that would help her launch her own imperial venture. I'll read this quote right here. And your high estate shall know that in the inhabiting of those countries by us and you shall have a great benefit. First, for that those countries of the East are adjoining to many kings, Moors, and infinite nations of our religion. And further, if your power and command shall be seen there with our army, all the Moors will join and confederate themselves by the help of God with us and you. And 400 years later,
And police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go. And they just
and there we go. Random characters. What they call them, agent provocateurs, right? Infiltrators of marches, such as this march yesterday, the Save America March. Save America from what exactly? What exactly does America need to be saved from? And I'm talking about the continent. Because there's abuses taking place in South, Central, the Caribbean, and here in North America. What exactly is America to be saved from? Is it, I'm just asking here, I'm concluding also, but is it, we showed the other day from the preface of former President James Buchanan, 1824's book, the North American Indian, on the contrary, prefers banishment, even death, to slavery, but his lands are serviceable to us, therefore his extinction seems to be desired, right? And his whole race is devoted to gradual extermination, all right? Is it that? Could it be that? The wrongs which have been perpetrated against, pardon me, wrongs which have been perpetuated upon the Aborigines of the great American continent. Could it be that? In regards to the Save America March, I see symbology. I see symbology in events, such as events from yesterday, the Save America March. Save America from what? I want to conclude. Show this text again. Let me locate it. Looking for page 136 again. We found page 130. Here we go. 136. America is open to every Moor, Jew, black and white, tall and short, who wishes to go there to attack and conquer and capture the Indians, to later sell them where and to whom they please. Is this what America is being saved from? Who is aware of this conspiracy? The age of this conspiracy? The conspirators and co-conspirators, who's aware? And for those that are aware, are they prepared? Yo, I'm concluding. I appreciate your time, appreciate your presence. Stay healthy, stay strong. Much appreciation to our American people. As always, cowboy season is over, scalp season is on. We got serious work to do out here to preserve our American peoples, who the foreigners have intended for our annihilation, our extinction, extermination, because they want our lands. They want our resources. They want our people to assist them. Stay healthy.
True culture. True experience. True issue. True news. True stories. Aboriginal American truths.